My brother wanted me to pay for his wedding because I earned more money. When I refused, he called me greedy on social media, trying to shame me. At the wedding, he announced, "Let's all thank my sister for paying for this." Everyone looked at me, surprised. I stood up and said, "Actually, here's the real story." His bride went pale. "Let me explain. I'm a 34-year-old woman and the oldest of 3 siblings. My younger brother, Luke, is 31 and was always the favorite child. Our parents spoiled him and made excuses for him, while I had to be responsible and work for what I wanted. For example, Luke got the bigger bedroom, my birthday gifts had to be shared with him, and he received expensive sports gear while I had to save up for my own things. It only got worse as we grew up. When we went to college, our parents paid all of Luke's tuition but didn't give me a cent. They said, 'You're a girl, one day your husband will take care of you.' So I worked part-time, took out loans, and paid for my own education. Meanwhile, Luke partied, traveled, and enjoyed his life with our parents' money. Now I have a good career in tech, earning a lot of money, owning my own house, and living comfortably. But Luke still jumps from job to job, has no savings, and expects everyone to support his lifestyle. The wedding drama started a few months ago when Luke and his fiancée Sarah announced their wedding. I congratulated them and sent a nice gift, thinking that was enough. But then Luke called me. He said weddings were more expensive than they thought, so he wanted me to pay for the venue and catering since I earned more. I laughed, thinking he was joking, but he was dead serious. When I said no, he tried to guilt-trip me, saying Mom and Dad can't help, and Sarah's parents aren't rich. You have plenty of money sitting around while I'm struggling. I shut him down, saying family should support each other equally. Mom and Dad paid for your college, not mine. You've already had more financial help than I ever did. You're not entitled to my money. He blew up, calling me selfish and greedy, claiming I changed since I started making good money. Then he went online and posted something like, "It's sad when family values money over love. Some people would rather hoard their wealth than help family." Obviously, that was aimed at me. People from our extended family commented, saying Luke deserved happiness and that I should reconsider. Some even messaged me directly. Sarah, his fiancée, stayed silent through all of this. Even though I was angry, I still went to the wedding because I had RSVP'd months before. The ceremony was beautiful, but things went south at the reception. Luke took the microphone and said, "Can we all thank my sister for making this wedding possible?" Everyone turned to look at me, clapping and smiling. I was shocked because I hadn't given him a single penny. Luke stood there, smirking like he pulled off some big trick. Some guests looked happy, while others seemed confused. But Sarah, his bride, looked pale and shocked. Clearly she didn't know what was going on. I stood up, ready to reveal the truth. "Penny, actually, here's the truth." Everyone went quiet and Luke's smile disappeared. I looked at the guests and said, "I didn't pay a single cent for this wedding." Luke asked me to, and I refused. Then he made a Facebook post saying terrible things about me because I wouldn't pay. People gasped and started whispering. I wasn't done. Me? Luke wanted me to pay for everything, venue, food, all of it, because he thinks he deserves my money. When I said no, he called me greedy and told everyone I abandoned my family. And now he's lying about it here. Sarah looked at Luke, her face turning from shock to something worse, realization. She clearly had no idea. "Sarah, is this true?" I looked her right in the eye. Me, every word. Luke tried to grab the microphone, but it was too late. Sarah's parents, who were sitting nearby, looked furious. Her dad stood up, and that's when things really blew up. Sarah's dad, a quiet man who hadn't spoken much, stood up and said, "You told us your sister insisted on paying for the wedding." Everything went silent. Sarah's mom looked shocked and whispered something to Sarah, who was now angry. "Luke, babe, let's not do this here." Sarah ignored him and turned to me. "Sarah, he said you offered to pay but then backed out at the last minute." I couldn't help but laugh a little. Me, I never offered. He called me out of nowhere and said I should pay. When I refused, he called me selfish and then ran to Facebook to play the victim. Sarah's mom gave Luke a death glare. Sarah's mom. "The money you asked us for, was it because your sister refused to pay?" Luke looked trapped. He was searching for an excuse, but there was nothing he could say. I glanced around the room. Some guests were frozen in shock. Others were whispering. His groomsmen looked embarrassed. Sarah's bridesmaids exchanged worried looks. My parents seemed ashamed. Luke finally admitted, "Okay, yes, I asked my sister to pay, but she should have. She has the money, and we're family." That made Sarah's dad even angrier. Sarah's dad, "So you lied to us. You made us think she abandoned you." Luke tried to speak but couldn't. Sarah's mom looked furious and turned to Sarah. Sarah's mom, "We're leaving." More gasps from the guests. Sarah, "Mom, wait." "No." Sarah's mom pulled her husband's arm. Sarah's mom, "We pay for half of this wedding because we believed a lie. This isn't a wedding. It's a scam." She looked at me. "I'm so sorry. We should have asked you before believing him." I nodded, but my focus was on Sarah. She wasn't crying or screaming. She just looked at Luke like he was a stranger. Then she took off her veil. Luke panicked. "Luke, Sarah, don't do this. We can talk about it later." Sarah's voice was calm. "Sarah, what else have you lied about?" Luke laughed nervously. "Luke, nothing. Just this. It was just a small mistake." Sarah looked at him like she finally understood what kind of man he was. Then she turned to me. "Sarah, how much did he ask you for?" "Me, the entire wedding, venue, food, dress, everything." People gasped again. Someone in the back even choked on their drink. Sarah's mom looked disgusted. Sarah took a deep breath, and in front of everyone, she pulled off her engagement ring and set it on a table. "I'm done." The room went crazy. Luke started begging, grabbing Sarah's hands. "Luke, Sarah, no, please. We can fix this. We love each other." Sarah pushed him away like he was nothing. "Sarah, love? You don't love me. You just wanted my parents' money and your sister's money. That's not love." Sarah's dad looked at Luke's parents. Sarah's dad, "We'll talk about the money you owe us later." Then he turned to Sarah. Sarah's dad, "Let's go." Just like that, half the guests walked out. Luke stood there, shocked and angry. "Luke, you did this." I grabbed my purse and smiled. "Me? No, Luke. You did this." Then I left. After that, things only got worse for him. The venue still needed payment, and Sarah's parents weren't paying anymore. Many guests left without giving gifts, and some of Sarah's family demanded refunds for travel expenses. Luke's groomsmen were furious. His best man ended their friendship, realizing Luke had lied to everyone. And the best part, Sarah's parents hired lawyers to get their money back since they had paid thousands based on Luke's lies. Luke tried begging my parents for help. My dad said no. My mom was sad but didn't interfere. Luke had to take out a big loan to cover the wedding costs, and even now, he's still paying it off. Sarah moved on. She's now happily engaged to a great guy. Luke, he's still bitter and blames me for everything. But really, he destroyed his own life. And honestly, I don't feel bad at all. You'd think Luke would learn his lesson. But no, he spent the next few months trying to ruin my reputation. Luke went back to Facebook, claiming I ruined his wedding because I was jealous. He painted himself as the poor brother trying to marry the love of his life while I, the greedy sister, sabotage everything. Of course, he left out the part where he tried to scam me into paying. Family members who always spoiled him believed him. I got flooded with angry messages. "How could you do that to your own brother? You embarrassed him in front of everyone. You make so much money. Why couldn't you just pay?" And the best one, "You'll die alone with your money and no family." But here's where things got interesting. Sarah saw his post. Sarah had been silent since the wedding. No posts, no drama. But when she saw Luke's lies, she had enough. Sarah commented, "You're seriously still lying. Let's set the record straight." Then she exposed him. Luke lied to her parents about me paying. He asked her parents for money after I said no. He had already borrowed money from her and never paid it back. Then she dropped the bomb. "Maybe tell your family why I really left. Should I post the screenshots?" She had proof. Turns out, Luke wasn't just a liar. He was also a cheater. Sarah had proof, texts, screenshots, and even a Venmo transaction where Luke sent money to another woman the night before the wedding. Sarah found out after calling off the wedding but hadn't told anyone until now. Luke deleted his post right away, But it was too late. Sarah's comment was already shared in family group chats. Everyone was furious. Sarah's parents were suing him. My parents were ashamed but tried to excuse him. He was stressed. Most of the family turned their backs on Luke. Even the other woman dumped him when she found out he was getting married. Luke hit rock bottom. His reputation was destroyed, he was buried in wedding debt, and he was completely alone. Then he texted me. Luke, I know we haven't talked in a while. Can we meet? I need your help. I ignored it. A week later, he tried again. Luke, I'm serious. I need a loan, just enough to get back on my feet. I ignored him again. Then one final message. Luke, if you don't help me, you're dead to me. I laughed because honestly, he was already dead to me. I never responded and haven't heard from him since. Sarah is happily married now and expecting her first child. Luke, he's still struggling. After burning so many bridges, he's been working random jobs and moving from place to place. As for me, I'm living my best life, surrounded by people who actually care about me. And to anyone who thinks I should have paid for Luke's wedding, I think his situation shows some people don't deserve help. I thought it was all over. Luke had ruined his own life and I had moved on. But then, he tried to drag me down with him. Months after his wedding disaster, my mom called. I almost didn't pick up, knowing it would be about Luke. I was right. Mom, he's struggling, honey. He lost his job, and his landlord is kicking him out. He just needs some help. I sighed. Me? And what do you want me to do about it? Mom, he's your brother. Can't you let him stay with you for a while? I couldn't help but laugh, really laugh. Me? You want me to let him stay in my house? The brother who tried to humiliate me, called me greedy, lied about me, and cheated on his fiancée. That brother? Mom, he's learned his lesson. I knew she was just making excuses, so I asked, has he even apologized? Silence. Then she said, well, he's embarrassed. That told me everything. He still thought I owed him something, so I told my mom he can figure it out himself. I'm done. And I hung up. Apparently, my answer wasn't what he wanted because, a week later, I got an email from my company's HR department with the subject line, Urgent Fraudulent Complaint. Someone had sent an anonymous email to my workplace accusing me of financial misconduct and bullying. They even included fake screenshots of emails I had supposedly sent. But the screenshots were so badly edited, it was almost funny. Wrong fonts, mismatched dates, and even one email where my name was spelled wrong. HR flagged it as fake, but I wasn't going to let this go. I asked a friend in its security to track down who sent it. And guess what? It was Luke. Since he tried to ruin my career, I decided to fight back. I did 3 things. Called the police. I reported him for fraud and defamation with all the evidence, emails, IP address, and confirmation from my company. The police contacted him, and he panicked. Told his landlord. I reached out to his landlord, who I happened to know, and mentioned Luke was under police investigation. The landlord didn't even wait until the end of the month. Luke was kicked out within a week. Informed Sarah's parents. I sent everything, his fake complaint, the police report, and my company's statement, to Sarah's parents. They replied, we'll make sure no one in our circle ever helps him again. That meant no money, no connections, nothing. With no home, no money, and a fraud case against him, Luke tried one last time. He called me, begging. Luke, please, I messed up. I'll do anything. Just let me stay for a bit. Just a couch, a few days. I let him finish talking, then said the most satisfying words of my life. Me, you're dead to me. And I hung up. Luke disappeared. No one in the family has heard from him in over a year. Last I heard, he was crashing at friends' places, burning bridges one after another. Meanwhile, I'm living my best life, and I have no regrets.